Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. You got to know this. Not everything that's in your heart, on your mind, or in your past needs to be laid out on the table from day one. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying lie. I'm saying protect your power. I'm talking about wisdom, not deception. Now, let me tell y'all something, and I need you to hear me clear. Every man you meet does not deserve the full tour of your past pain. No, sir. Don't do it. See, that's one of the biggest mistakes women make out here in this dating game. You meet a man, he seemed cool, you get comfortable, and then boom, you lay it all out like a confession booth. You tell him about every heartbreak, every lie, every time somebody walked out on you. You give him the full story, your childhood, your trauma, the times you cried yourself to sleep, the man that ghosted you after 5 years, the dude that cheated with your cousin, everything. And you think, well, I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. But baby, real doesn't mean unguarded. Real don't mean raw and exposed to somebody who hasn't even earned your heart yet. What you're doing is giving somebody a flashlight and a map to your wounds. You're showing him where the cracks are before you know if he's here to heal or to harm. And trust me, some folks don't come to love you. They come to study you. They take notes on your pain, and the next thing you know, they're using that same information to manipulate you. See, you got to understand there's a difference between sharing and unloading. When you're just getting to know somebody, they don't need the weight of your past dumped in their lap. Not yet. Let time show you who they are first. A man that's serious, one who's built for you, who's coming correct. He'll earn those layers. He'll wait. He'll be gentle with your story when it's time. But don't volunteer everything too early. Protect your peace. Look, everybody walking around here got a past. Pain ain't unique, but healing is personal. Some of y'all walking into relationships still bleeding, and you expecting this man, this stranger, to stop your bleeding, bandage you up, and carry you through it. That's not his job, that's your job. And if he's the right man, he'll stand by you while you do it, but you gotta show up to the table whole, or at least working on it. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking. Well, if I don't tell him what I've been through, how will he know me? How will he understand why I am the way I am? That's a fair question. But here's the truth. Your character, your spirit, how you treat him, how you move, that's what should speak first. Your history ain't your whole identity. And let's be real, some men, they can't handle everything you've been through. You tell them your pain too early, and they either start treating you like a victim, or worse, like a project. And you ain't no project, baby, you a prize. There's power in mystery. You don't owe your full life story to a man you just met. You don't owe it to the man you're dating for 3 weeks. You don't even owe it all to the man you're in love with if he hasn't shown you he's safe yet. Some things are sacred. Some things you hold close until you know, really know, this man sees you, not your brokenness. That he's not here to fix you, but to walk with you. Let me give it to you like this. Think about a house. When you invite somebody over for the first time, you don't show them the storage closet. You don't say, hey, come look at this room where I keep all my junk, all the stuff I haven't sorted through yet. No, you tidy up. You let them in slowly. Living room first, then maybe the kitchen. The bedroom, that comes with time. But the back room full of pain and old memory, you don't show that on day one. Same thing with your heart. Let a man earn access to that room. And ladies, this ain't about being fake. This ain't about playing games or being secretive. This is about wisdom, about boundary, about understanding that your pain is precious, and you can't just hand it over like it don't matter, because it does. It shaped you. It taught you. It built the woman you are today. So don't let the wrong man turn it into a weapon. That chapter at your life, that's private, until it's right. And if a man truly loves you, he's not going to need to see every scar to believe in your strength. He's going to feel it in how you carry yourself. He's going to respect you more for protecting yourself than for oversharing out of fear, out of loneliness, out of trying to rush something that's meant to grow slowly. So let me say this plain. Don't give every man the full story. Give him a page, let him earn the chapter. Don't open your diary to a man who hasn't even proven he deserves a sentence. Because some parts of your story, they're for your healing, not his curiosity. Let him see the woman you've become, not just the pain that got you there. Now, ladies, we got to talk about this right here because it's important. One of the things a woman must always keep close to her chest is her money. Yeah, I said it, your money, your finances, your accounts, your credit score, your savings, your investments, all that. See, I know we live in a world where everybody's preaching about transparency and openness, and we're building together. But let me tell you this, your money is your business. And just because you in love don't mean you got to put a man on your payroll. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't be generous. I'm not saying be stingy or selfish. A good relationship does involve sharing, helping, supporting each other when times get rough. But what I'm saying is this. You don't need to give a man the full blueprint to your financial life, especially if he hasn't shown you he's responsible with his own. See, when a man loves you for real, he's not worried about what you make. He's focused on what you two can build together. But a man that sees your income before your character, That's not love, that's leverage. Too many women out here are confusing love with obligation. You out here telling this man how much you make, what you've saved, what your credit limit is, what kind of house you plan to buy, and he's sitting there taking mental notes like it's a job interview. You think you're impressing him, but what you're really doing is setting yourself up, because now he sees your wallet before he sees your worth. And let me tell you something, the wrong man will ride that wave as long as you let him. See, money is power, and when you hand that over too soon, before a man has proven that he can be trusted with your heart, let alone your financial peace, you're giving him a level of access that can be dangerous. I've seen it too many times. Women out here paying for everything, rent, car notes, vacations, gifts, trying to hold a man who ain't even trying to stand on his own. You covering bills for a man who won't even cover you emotionally. That ain't partnership, that's parenthood. And don't fall for that "we supposed to be building together" line when the only one building is you. If he's not putting in work, not putting up effort, not bringing anything to the table but appetite, baby, that's not a relationship, that's a liability. Let me say it plain, your financial stability is not a gift bag to be handed out at the start of every relationship. That's yours. You worked for it. You earned it. You stayed up late for it. You said no to things for it. You saved while others spent. You sacrificed. And just because you meet a man who calls you baby and holds your hand don't mean he gets a passcode to your banking app. And don't let guilt trick you. Don't let loneliness make you reach for your purse every time he falls short. A real man don't want to live off your money, he wants to build with you, beside you. And if he's not in a position to contribute, that's fine, as long as he's working, trying, hustling with heart. But if he's chilling while you're stressing, if he's spending while you're saving, if he's asking while you're answering, something's off. And deep down you know it. Here's the truth that's gonna sting a little. Some men will choose women based on what they can get, not who she really is. You show him you got the car, the house, the job, the travel. He starts calculating how he can benefit from what you built. You think you're showing him your strength, but to a weak man, you just became his lifeline, and he'll cling to you not out of love but out of need. That kind of man don't want a woman, he wants a lifestyle. So be smart. You can love a man with your heart, but protect your assets with your head. Don't co-sign loans, don't open joint accounts too fast. Don't let him move in if he ain't contributing something real. You ain't a rescue mission. You're not here to save him. You're here to be a woman, and a woman should never feel ashamed of keeping her financial business private until trust is built and commitment is solid. Let me make it real for you. You don't see banks giving out vault codes just because somebody walks in with a smile and a compliment. They need ID. They need credentials. They need trust. Same goes for your life. If a man hasn't proven he's got the integrity, the responsibility, the drive, then he has no business knowing what's in your vault. You can love him, support him, believe in his dreams, but don't fund his lifestyle just because he told you he loved you. Love without accountability is just convenience in disguise, and you deserve more than that. So keep your money safe, keep your goals tight and your business to yourself, until it's clear that he's not just there for the benefits, but for the bond. A real man will respect your boundaries. A real man won't feel insecure about your success. He'll admire it, he'll clap for it, and he'll grind right beside you to bring his own to the table. Because a man that's worth your time, he don't want your money, he wants to match your hustle, period. Let me tell you something that'll save your heart a whole lot of wear and tear. Stop letting men know exactly what gets to you. Stop handing them the cheat code to your emotions. See, when a woman lays out all her emotional triggers early on, thinking that's intimacy, thinking that's vulnerability, she's actually giving up something she should be protecting, her emotional power. And you gotta protect that like it's gold, because it is. Now, I'm not saying walk around cold and guarded with a wall up so high nobody can reach you. That's not healthy either. But there's a difference between being open and being wide open. You meet a man, he says all the right things, he looks good, he listens real well in the beginning, and you start thinking, this the one, I can finally let my guard down. And so you tell him everything, what makes you cry, what gets under your skin, what your ex used to do that still messes with your head, how you overthink, how you get anxious when people pull away. You tell him all of it, thinking you're building connection. But what you might be doing is handing a loaded weapon to somebody who ain't even proven they're safe to hold it. See, not every man deserves access to your soft spots. Some folks will take your sensitivity and see it as a strategy. They'll test it, push it, use it, not because they're evil, but because you taught them what buttons to press. And now they know exactly how to break you down when they ain't getting their way. You told him you hate being ignored. Watch how quiet he gets during arguments. You said you can't stand dishonesty because of your past. Watch how smooth his lies start sounding, cause now he knows what you're afraid of. You shared too soon, and now he's playing chess with your emotions while you're still playing checkers with your trust. Let me tell you something. A woman's strength is not in how much she gives. It's in how well she holds what matters until it's earned. You can still be soft, still be loving, still be vulnerable, but that don't mean you gotta be predictable. Unpredictability, that's your protection. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that says you don't get the deepest parts of me just because you showed up. That's gotta be earned over time, through consistency, through patience, through presence, not promises. And let me say this, because a lot of women don't hear it enough. Your emotions are not a weakness. Feeling deeply, loving fully, being moved by things, that's beautiful. But emotions in the wrong hands become liabilities. You can't put the most sensitive parts of your heart in the hands of someone who hasn't shown he can even hold a conversation without gaslighting you. You can't expose your soul to somebody who's only there for convenience. Some of y'all been through too much to be letting just anybody inside your emotional space. You've fought battles to get your peace. You've cried over men who didn't deserve your time, let alone your tears. You've done the work. So why give your triggers away like they're nothing? Why give a man the roadmap to undoing you? Now look, I know relationships are built on connection. I get that. And connection requires some level of vulnerability. I'm not saying walk around acting like nothing bothers you. What I'm saying is, when something does bother you, watch how he responds before you give him more. You say one thing makes you upset. See if he honors it. See if he remembers, if he starts weaponizing it. That ain't a red flag, that's a fire alarm. Get out, a real man. When he learns your emotional triggers, don't play with them, he protects them. He don't bring up what hurt you in a moment of anger. He don't dismiss your feelings just to win an argument. He don't treat your vulnerability like leverage. He treats it like sacred ground. That's how you know it's real. But before he gets that chance, you have to do your part. You have to be careful. You have to pay attention. You have to understand that protecting your emotional world is not selfish. It's wise. You can smile, flirt, laugh, build a connection, all of that, while still keeping your deepest triggers tucked away until the time is right. Not out of fear, but out of respect for yourself. Because your emotions are not up for negotiation. They're not weapons for someone else to use. They're your gift, your compass, and the person who gets to see them in full should be someone who's proven they won't use them against you. So don't be so quick to say, this is what hurts me, this is what scares me, this is what I can't handle. Let that man show you who he is before you show him who you are under pressure. Let him earn the right to know where your walls are soft, where your heart bends, where your mind races. If he's the right one, he'll wait for it. He'll show you he's worthy of it. But until then, don't hand over your peace just to feel understood. Because if you give someone the power to destroy you, don't be surprised when they do exactly that. Now let me tell you something that every woman needs to understand, and I mean really understand deep in her bones. Not every move you make has to be announced. You don't need to tell a man your every thought, your every plan, your next big step. Matter of fact, sometimes your silence is your strongest weapon. See, too many women give away their vision before it's even fully formed. You so excited, so proud of your ideas, so ready to share, and I get it, but what you're doing is giving someone front row access to a show that ain't even finished rehearsing yet. You meet a man, you like him, you trust him too early, and all of a sudden, you're laying out your 5-year plan, your business ideas, how you want to flip this money, buy that property, go back to school, start that brand, move to that city. You talking about all your goals like he your business partner, but he ain't even proved he can show up on time yet. You're sharing strategies with somebody who hasn't shown you he can handle the results of your grind. Let me tell you something, real power moves happen in silence. You don't have to broadcast your growth. You don't have to get approval from a man to chase your goals. You don't need his validation to be great. If he's the right one, he'll see the results. He'll watch you rise, and he'll respect the fact that you didn't need to shout about it every step of the way. That's called moving in purpose, not permission. Now here's where it gets real. When you start telling a man everything you're working on, before you've even gotten momentum, two things can happen. First, he might unintentionally discourage you, not because he's trying to hold you back, but because he can't see what you see. Everybody can't see your vision, baby. That's why God gave it to you. So when you tell a man your dream, and he starts asking you how it's gonna work, or if it's too risky, or says something slick like, "That's a lot for one person," you start second guessing yourself, and you don't need that. Doubt don't belong in your circle, especially when it's coming from someone who hasn't earned the right to speak into your destiny. And the second thing that happens, some men will see your ambition and feel threatened by it. Let's talk about that. There are men out here who are so uncomfortable with a woman who has her own thing going that they'll try to slow you down just to keep you close. They won't say it out loud. No, they'll mask it. They'll say they miss your time. They'll complain you work too much. They'll start creating problems in the relationship right when you're gaining traction, not because they don't love you, but because they fear being left behind. They want you to shine, just not too bright. That's why you gotta learn to move different. Sometimes the best thing you can do is keep quiet and let your actions speak. Wake up, handle your business, work your plan, and let the results do the talking. Stop trying to convince somebody of your greatness before you've even stepped into it. Let them witness it. And this ain't about playing games. This ain't about secrecy. This is about protection. Your dreams are sacred. Your growth is sacred. You can't put that in the hands of someone who might not know how to handle it. You're not hiding it out of fear. You're guarding it out of wisdom. Every seed don't need sunlight right away. Some things grow better underground for a while. A woman who moves in silence, oh, she's powerful. She's focused. She ain't got time for validation. She's too busy building. While other people are talking, she's doing. And when her results show up, everybody gonna be shocked. Not because she wasn't capable, but because she didn't feel the need to prove it before it was time. That's how queens move. Quietly, strategically, with purpose. Now don't get me wrong. There's a time to share. There's a time to bring your partner into your plans. But that comes after he's shown consistency. After he's shown that he claps when you win. After he's shown he's not intimidated by your strength, your discipline, your vision. A man who's for you won't just support your moves. He'll match them. He'll push you higher, not pull you back. But until you know that for sure, you don't owe him a front row seat to the construction zone. You don't owe him updates on every brick you're laying. Build first, share later, and when the house is standing, solid and beautiful, that's when you say, "Now you see what I was working on." Don't be so eager to include a man in your plans that you forget the power of moving with quiet intention. Every detail of your journey doesn't have to be disclosed. Sometimes the best way to protect your peace is to keep your mouth shut and your grind loud, because real confidence, it doesn't need an audience. So the next time you feel like you gotta explain yourself, prove your ambition, or lay out your goals for someone who hasn't even shown he's staying long term, pause. Ask yourself, does this man add fuel to my fire, or just stand close enough to feel its warmth? Because when you learn how to move without making noise, that's when you really start to make impact. Let me tell you something. A lot of women don't realize until it's too late. You can't let a man see every single insecurity you got. You hear me? I'm talking about them deep down late night. I don't feel like I'm enough kind of insecurities. The ones you don't even say out loud to yourself sometimes. Now, I know that might sound strange, especially with everybody always talking about how relationships are supposed to be about openness, about honesty, about being real. And yeah, they are. But there's a difference between being real and handing over your emotional weaknesses like a gift. See, you might think sharing every insecurity with a man is showing trust. You might think it's the foundation of emotional intimacy. But you gotta ask yourself, Is he ready for that level of access? Because not every man is. Some of them will take what you show them and use it the wrong way. Not always on purpose. Sometimes they're just not built to carry what you handed them. But other times they'll remember everything you said you were unsure about. And when they get angry, when they get insecure themselves, when they need to control the conversation, guess what they'll throw back at you? Exactly what you told them in confidence. You told him you never liked your body growing up. Now he's making little jokes when y'all argue. You told him you sometimes feel like you're not smart enough, not educated enough, not polished enough. And suddenly when he's mad, he's saying stuff like ain't nobody else gonna want you anyway. You showed him your scars, and now he's throwing salt in the wounds you were just starting to heal. That's why I'm telling you, you gotta be selective with your vulnerability. Don't go unloading your whole emotional file cabinet just because a man's being sweet in the moment. You don't owe him access to every chapter of your past, every fear you wrestle with, every negative voice in your head. Because once you put it all out there, you can't take it back. And the wrong person will turn your transparency into ammunition. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should fake confidence. I'm not saying you gotta walk around like you're perfect. But what I am saying is, be intentional about what you reveal and when you reveal it. There's a time and place to open up, and it sure ain't in the early stages when folks still putting their best face forward. You gotta make sure he's proven he's not only emotionally available, but emotionally responsible. Let me break that down. Emotional responsibility means when you hand somebody something fragile, they don't drop it, they don't misuse it, they don't throw it back in your face when the moment gets tough. They hold it like it's valuable, 'cause it is. A man who deserves to know your insecurities is the kind of man who reassures you without being. He speaks life into you when you're silent. He notices without you having to explain. He's consistent even when you're distant. That's the kind of energy that earns access to your deepest self. Now let's talk about this, 'cause some of y'all confuse emotional dumping with bonding. Y'all meet a man and within a few weeks, you've told him about your childhood trauma, your broken relationships, your self-esteem struggles, your abandonment issues. You think it makes the bond stronger. You think he'll understand you better. But really what you've done is given him a blueprint to manipulate you. If he's the wrong kind of man, you told him you hate being left on read. Now he's doing it to control your mood. You told him you panic when people pull away. Now he goes quiet during conflict, just to watch you spiral. It's not love, it's emotional control. And it all started when you showed your whole deck too early in the game. You gotta understand this. Not everybody can handle the real you. That doesn't mean you're too much. It just means you gotta protect what you're carrying. Everybody wants a woman who's soft, vulnerable, honest, until they realize being soft means she can break. And if you give that side of you to someone who doesn't know how to handle it, you end up more broken than before. There's a quiet strength in keeping some things for yourself. You can be in love and still have privacy. You can trust someone and still have boundaries. There's power in looking in the mirror and saying, I know what I'm working on. I know what I don't like about myself. But I don't need to hand all of that over just to feel love. Love doesn't mean exposure. It means safety. And if you don't feel safe holding your own insecurities in front of him, then he's not ready to hold you. The right man will see what you don't say. He'll recognize your quiet dose and still speak life into you without needing a detailed backstory. He won't dig into your wounds just to satisfy curiosity. He'll give you space to be whole, not fix you, but support you while you do your own healing. He won't need a full breakdown of your pain, just to know you're worth loving. So keep some parts of you sacred, not because you're hiding, but because you respect yourself enough to know that vulnerability is earned, not owed. You don't have to be an open book to be worthy of love. The right man will take his time reading, not trying to skip ahead to the fragile parts. Because your insecurities, they're not flaws, they're the parts of you still learning how to love themselves. And those parts deserve care. They deserve patience. They deserve someone who doesn't just look at your cracks and see damage, but someone who sees your light still shining through anyway. And until you know he's that kind of man, keep that part of you guarded. not out of fear, out of wisdom. Now let me tell you something that a lot of women don't think twice about, but it matters more than you think. You gotta hide how much you're willing to tolerate. Listen to me, because this one right here, this one will save your dignity, your time, and your spirit. Too many women show a man right out the gate just how much they're willing to put up with. And the second he sees that, oh, he starts testing limits you didn't even know you had. Let me break it down. A woman meets a man, likes how he looks, likes how he talks. Maybe she's been lonely for a while. Maybe she just got out of something bad. So when this man shows up, acting halfway decent, she starts thinking, maybe this time it'll be different. And before she knows it, she's ignoring red flags, lowering her standards, explaining things away, excusing behavior she would have never accepted a few months ago. Why? Because she doesn't want to lose him. Because she believes love means being patient. Because somewhere along the way, she learned that ride or die meant suffering in silence. But here's the truth. You teach people how to treat you. The moment you let something slide, that becomes the new bar. You didn't say nothing when he disappeared for 3 days and came back acting like nothing happened. Now that's a pattern. You didn't speak up when he disrespected your time, your energy, your boundaries. That's now the standard. And guess what? He's gonna keep pushing further. Not because he's evil, not because he's heartless, but because you already told him, without saying a word, that you'll tolerate it. You can't let a man know just how much pain you'll swallow, just to keep the peace. You can't let him see how far you'll bend before you break. You gotta hold something back. Not in a sneaky way, in a wise way. Because once he knows you'll stay no matter how many times he messes up, he stops trying, he stops growing, he starts thinking, she ain't going nowhere. And the minute a man feels like he don't have to earn your presence anymore, the respect starts slipping, piece by piece. Let me give it to you straight. Your tolerance level should be your secret weapon. That's something you keep close to the chest. A man should never be able to look at you and say, I can treat her any kind of way, and she'll still be there. No, he needs to wonder, if I mess this up, will she walk? Because when he knows there's a line you won't let him cross, he moves differently. He thinks before he speaks. He puts effort into the little things. He values you more because you've shown him your love is strong. But it's not unlimited. It's not blind. It's not up for abuse. Now I know some of y'all got big hearts. You love hard. You give chances. You believe in potential. And I'm not knocking that. But potential don't mean anything if it's costing you your peace. You think you're being patient, but really, you're enabling. You think you're holding it all, but you're actually holding yourself back. A man worth loving will meet your standards, not ask you to lower them. You ever notice how men treat the women they feel they could lose a whole lot different than the ones they know will stay no matter what? That's not an accident, that's instinct. When a man knows a woman understands, when he knows she walks, when she's not respected, when he knows she ain't afraid to be alone, if it means keeping her self-worth intact, he steps up, he shows up, because now he knows. This one's different. This one don't play about herself. You gotta let me learn through your actions what the limits are, not just through talking, not through long emotional speeches, through your response. If he flakes, you stop making yourself available. If he disrespects you, you go silent. Not out of games, but out of self-respect. You show him what happens when he crosses the line, and you don't move the line just because you like him. Your standards don't disappear just because you're attracted to him. If anything, they get sharper. See, a lot of women think being low maintenance makes them more lovable. That if they don't complain, if they don't speak up, if they just go with the flow, the man will stay. But what you're really doing, it's showing him you don't value yourself enough to set a standard. And guess what? The man who really wants you, he doesn't mind a standard. Matter of fact, he respects it. A man who's serious about you will rise to the occasion, not try to pull you down to comfort. So stop advertising how much you take. Stop showing him your threshold for disappointment. Let him learn through how you carry yourself that certain things just won't fly. And don't be afraid to walk away. Sometimes the best thing you can do, a man, and for yourself, is leave the table where respect is no longer being served. Not with a tantrum, not with drama, just quiet confidence, And the kind of peace that says I love me too much to stay in a place where I'm not honored. And when you start doing that, when you stop showing your tolerance and start walking in your worth, that's when the right one sees you and says, now that's a woman I can't play with. That's a woman I gotta level up for. Because a woman who knows her limit, but doesn't speak on it, unless she has to. Oh, she's a force. And the world, including the man she loves, will either rise up to meet her, or get left behind.